primaries in general are a fight for a subsection of a subsection of voters. And, kind of take the money you're going to spend on doing voter registration and talk to more Republicans. Maybe those are medium prop voters. And at the end of the day, voter registration is a lot of money to do it right. I mean, it's not just about signing a voter up. It's about signing that voter up and then making sure that they actually get to the polls, which is a longer process. Now, look, I've had a lot of clients who have a big congregation at their church, or is very popular, in some type of sporting thing, or is very, been volunteer at the library for years. And I think that there can be programs to make sure that those people go out and vote. But I would take the money you're thinking about spending that and talk to as many Republican voters as possible. And particularly in a Republican primary fight, the biggest indication of who's going to win is name ID and positive image flow. And those are the two most important things when you win a primary. How many people know you and how positive they think about you. So all your money's got to go, getting your name ID up and then making sure that it's positive as well. So that's just my thought on that.
Yeah, I think Jimmy's right. And I think it's almost like a prioritization of resources question, right? So like, how
Right.
are you going to spend your next dollar? Start with the people that are going to vote. Then before you would start registering new people, you would go down the ladder one step to people who you think are going to vote, but they're with you. Right. So turn those people out. And then if you and this is like, a touchy question, but it's like if your polling shows that you're losing and there's not enough potential votes for you among people who are currently registered to vote, not only are you in a bad spot, but you also then need to register new people to vote, right? And so
Or
whether
just burn it down and go negative. But that's a
right,
that's
yeah,
a
right, right,
that's
right.
another just burn it down, baby. That's another discussion. But there is also
Totally.
that option. Yeah,
Yeah.
to just send her the
So
torpedoes and let it go, right?
100%. Yeah. But like if you're in a state where like there's like a ton of conservative independents who wouldn't vote in a Republican primary, but they're registered to vote, and you think that those people are like your voters for whatever reason, you know that either through polling or whatever, like try and get those people to register as Republicans, right? But I would always like start with the folks that are definitely going to vote, and then the folks that are already Republicans don't need to take an additional like registration action, and then move on to voter reg type stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree with what Jimmy and Phil said. The only thing I would add there is to know the level of transience in your district, how many people have moved in since the last election. I think that might be the only area where I would target if I could know that someone was registered as a Republican where they previously lived. But it depends on where you live as to whether or not there's enough inflow of people into your district for that to be meaningful in any way. But like Phil said specifically, the voter that you have to register is going to be the most expensive vote that you can get. And if you can spend that dollar, shoring up 2, 3, 4 votes, you're better off there.